She's bringing a pop-up banner too.
Okay.
You'll have to determine whether that's
She's so sweet. No, okay.
Hey, Shelly.
Hi.
Hey there. Okay. Did it work for you? You got the link and then you click the link?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully that'll work for Colleen, because she's having trouble when she's presenting.
That's not cool.
Hey, Colleen. You're on that side. I think it's maybe yes.
You're gonna sit there?
Yeah.
This go great for about 5 seconds.
Donna Jones addicted. She contracted hepatitis. Remember that? Through needle. And
Morning.
today said she's clear of that, but she's.
All right, I sent the link out to everyone. So I think we're waiting on Matt and Wanda. And then we'll let's see if I can dial up Luann.
And Daniel, I told Jay he didn't need to come because he knows he's been using Asana with the Spirit team for like 6 months. So
Yeah.
he doesn't need to know all this stuff. He already knows it.
He did a big conference with Justice. He's already got here again.
Hey, Daniel.
Yes.
Luann just sent a thing that said, could somebody call her phone?
No, because it's video. I mean, it's she's got to be able to see the screen. She's trying to call.
Text message, like picture message, message retrieval cancel. Look.
And you gotta get you enough on that.
Sorry about that. It would not let me join. The little thing that comes up in the corner would not let me join. So I was trying.
Can
Can you see video?
You missed some.
Yes.
Okay, great. Luann is in New Orleans and trying to join us from there. And Matt, have you heard from Matt, Shelley?
No, I hadn't heard from him.
Okay.
Sorry about that. It would not let me join. The little thing that comes up in the corner would not let me join. So I was trying.
Yeah, you click the link and have to sign your life away because it's going to be broadcast or whatever. So.
Daniel, I think I am on a long delay here.
We're just being quiet. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's a rare thing. A rare thing.
Do you know about Matt? Does he have his? He said his laptop had crashed. So is he having to do this on his phone, or do you know, Shelley?
Oh, I have no earthly idea. I do know he said he was having problems with his computer, but that's all I know.
Okay.
MGM.
Sorry, Colleen.
You're fine. You guys are the only people that have people spread so far out. So hopefully we'll all be able to communicate, and it will. If not, we can schedule a different time with people at each location if things get lost in translation. So it's all good.
I've been looking forward to this day for 3 months.
I don't think she has.
John may be the only one.
You will all love it once you get into it, I promise. And it's not terribly complicated, which is why we picked this specific one, because we don't want to get too far in the weeds with a project manager. So I promise it's pretty simple.
Right.
I already signed up for it and kind of looked through it. I think it'll be great.
Daniel, are we ready or are we still waiting on a few people?
Well, I'm waiting on Matt, and Luann's having trouble, but honestly, I'm recording it for Luann, because I don't know how long she would be able. You see Matt?
Yep.
Hey, there's Matt. Okay, let me then type in Luann one more time and see if it helps her.
Well,
I think you want to build them up, for sure.
no, yeah.
It's a. We'll give her 2 minutes here.
Since he's searching for her, since you guys are at all different locations, I'm going to do it a little differently than I've been doing the other ones. I'm going to go through a section, and then I'm going to stop and ask you if you have questions. So if you have questions, we'll go through like each little, 3 or 4 minute how to do something, and then I'll ask you guys if you have questions. Please ask me any question. No question is too small. If you don't understand what I said, please let me know, and I'll just go back through it. So this is interactive. I want to know if you understand what I'm saying and how to do it, because after we're done, you guys will jump into Asana as soon as we're done with this call. So I want to make sure that at least know the basics of how to get it done. So please don't hesitate to ask.
Okay. So basically, can we put our microphones all on mute, and then you do a section, and then when you're ready to stop, then you ask for, then we'll all unmute, we'll ask questions, and then we'll mute again, because that way too, since we're recording this, if we have background noise, then that's going to be on the recording forever, amen. So, super. Matt, are you cool? You good? You good to go?
I'm not sure. Can y'all see me or hear me?
I can see you. Can you see Colleen? That's the most important thing.
Yes, I can see her.
Okay, great. So if we'll all just mute the mics at this time, then Colleen will start, and after a few sections, she'll break, and we'll ask questions. So if you have a question, write it down so you won't forget it, and then when it comes time, we'll ask. Great, Colleen, we'll roll.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you and all my secrets. So, all right. I do need someone to tell me, because I can't see you anymore, if you could see my screen.
Yep.
You can see my screen. Okay, great. So don't be overwhelmed. I have a lot of things in Asana. The best way to show it to you is just to show you my Asana. So hopefully nothing's top secret. I did go through and make sure it was all good before we started recording. So this is what you will log in when you will log into Asana. I'm going to hide some of my things just because there's so many of them. You are going to see this dashboard. Yours will be empty because you don't have anything in it. So yours will just be over here where my picture is, where it says edit photo. Yours will just say my tasks, my inbox, and my dashboards. You won't have anything listed where it says EAS, set up a meeting with Randy. You won't have anything there because you haven't put anything in yet. But that's what mine looks like right now. So we're going to start with just the very, very basics, which is putting tasks in for yourself. So this is basically an interactive to-do list. I don't know about you guys, but before I went to Asana, I had a typed to-do list, and things would change, and then things would come off. And so this is an interactive digital to-do list. So very, very simple to start. If you want to make a task for yourself, all you're going to do is click on, this is going to be empty for y'all, but all you're going to do is click on it, push Enter key, and start typing. So I'm just going to name, mine fell down here, but I'm just going to write test, and that's the name of the task. So if, as you can see, some of my other ones, social media for Share-a-thon, personality cards, those are the name of the task I need to get complete. Then I'm going to put a description. So say this task doesn't tell me exactly what I need to do, or I need to remember something about it, this is where I would type that. I'm just going to type anything. But that's where you would type the description of the task. And then you can assign it. So whatever the due date is, if it's today, if it's tomorrow, you click on here, and it's going to show you a calendar. You can go to any month, any year, and you can assign it. See where the little star right here is the day that it's on. So if I don't want it to be today, say I want it to be the 17th, I could just click on the 17th, and it would automatically assign it the 17th. You can make subtasks in a task, and we'll get into that when we get into like promotions and share-a-thon when I show you things that actually would need a subtask. You can tag it if you want. That makes it more searchable. If it's an ongoing thing or if it's something you know you're going to need to find later, you can tag it. And what that means is you put in a few words, and then when you search for those words, it will pull it up. You can attach things to it, just like you would an email. You can attach photos, documents, anything. You can, that's just like a like button. This little heart right here is the same thing as a like button on Facebook. It just tells people you like the task. I don't know that, but you know, show your support. That's what that is. If you create a task just on your task list, it's able to be seen by everybody. So if you don't want it to be seen by everyone in your team, you can lock it, or I'll show you in just a minute how you can make your tasks completely private and you don't have to worry about that. Down here, you can delete the task. You can make a copy of it. You can print it, or you can merge with another task. Say you made 2 tasks you forgot, and you made 2 of the same one, you can easily, instead of deleting one and losing all that information, you can easily merge it. And then the other thing is you can create followers. So say that this task is something Daniel needs to know about. I can type in Daniel's name, and it shows up, and I just click on Daniel Britt, and now this task, he's a follower. So anytime I attach anything or if I complete the task, it notifies him. Now, right now, Daniel and Jay are the only ones that are in Asana, but once you all sign up, when you begin to type a name, it will show it. Like if I begin to type Mark from Sphere, it shows me Mark. I can type Cindy, and it shows me Cindy. So once you all join, all you have to do is start typing the person's name, and it'll give you choices to who you want. Same thing with assigning tasks. So say this task isn't for me, that I need a graphic from Matt. You can assign him, you can assign it to anybody. Now he's going to ask me why I assigned him a task. But you can assign a task to anyone actually within PAR. There's all the people that have signed up so far. And so if you need them to complete a task for you, you can assign them a task. Generally, we'll do that in projects, but I'll show you that in just a second. This is just the very basics of that. If I assign somebody else a task, it automatically makes me a follower, which all the followers' little pictures are down here. I would encourage you to put a picture just because it makes it easier with so many people. MB, there's Matt Billingsley is MB, Michael Brown is MB, so having a little picture or some kind of icon does make it easier for your team members to remember who it is and not mistake you for someone else. So that is the very, very, very basics of assigning a task. Now your tasks will show up in this list where you see Colleen's Positive Alternative Radio tasks. These are all the tasks that I've assigned myself or that other people have assigned me. You can arrange this in several different ways. So the first way you can do it, and the way that I like to do it, but it's completely up to you, is task by due date. So when you first log in, you will have to tell it how you want it to be viewed. You can do tasks by project, which makes it look like this. Sorry, it's thinking. All right, I may not be maybe too bogged down. Oh, there we go. So it's going to show me all the different stuff I have, and it's going to show me by the projects. You can do task by due date, which is the one I like. It shows you the tasks that are due today first, or if they're overdue, it will show those ones first. So then it goes today, tomorrow, Thursday. If this is the view you want, after you go and pick it, you have to save it. The little save thing, save as default view, you have to save it. Otherwise, it will open up in a different way every time. You can also do a calendar view. This is really good for if you need to move things, if you need to see what's going on. So you can literally pick up any task and move it to another day. You can see all your tasks by looking at it like that, but you can pick up and move things as need be. The other is attachment. So this one's really useful for, like, I know that Matt just made a graphic for me, and I don't know where it went in Asana. Like, it's somewhere, but I don't know what happened to it, or I can't find it, or I just need an easier view to download these things. Attachments will show you all the attachments that were in any of your tasks. So we have a winter jam one. We have a graphic that Matt made for someone else. So it'll show me all the attachments to all the tasks that have been completed, app cards, all that. So it's just easier to find things that way. Those are your 3 ways you can view your tasks: your list, your calendar up here, your list, your calendar, or your attachments. All right, that's the very first step. Are there any questions? Wow, that looks weird.
I have just a few.
Okay.
You talked about the views and tasks. Can you toggle between the 2 views? So if I start, let's say, I want to see my task list, but decide later I want to see them as projects, can I toggle back to that and save it, or am I locked into whatever view I choose?
No, you're not locked in. You can, like, just as easy as I went back and forth, you absolutely can. However you initially save it is just the default view of how, when you log in, that's how you'll see it. But no, you can go back. You can go back between a bunch of different views. You can even go back. Let me share one more second. You can also go back between completed tasks too. So this gives you all the options. You can go back and forth as much as you want. But say you need to look at, you want to see all completed tasks. It'll show you all those too. So you can go back and forth between these things, no problem at all. It's literally as easy as I'm showing you. It'll just show you. You can do it new ones by due date, and it goes back and forth. The only thing you're saving is the actual default, what it does when you first open Asana. Does that make sense?
It does. I might be getting ahead of you right here, so just say so if I am, but are tasks and projects different? In other words, if I have a major event that's coming up and I want to make that a project, can I set that aside, or is that something that falls under tasks?
Yeah, I'm going to show you that next, and how those all interact with each other. I'm actually going to show you with one of our live promotions right now, because that's huge. I know for you specifically that's huge, but also when you guys are doing share-a-thons and all that. So I'll get into the project and tasks and how those all interact with each other next.
Okay, awesome.
Colleen, you had said that Jay and Daniel were the only 2 on Asana. I had actually joined Asana. I was wondering why I did not show up.
Yeah, I'm also in there.
So when did you guys all join?
I joined, what, John, when did we join? It was...
When you told us about it a long time ago.
A few weeks ago, yeah. When we first started talking about it, we joined and looked at it.
Let me look. Let me see if you're in there.
Matt, didn't you join also?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't see the screen presentation, but yes, I joined probably about the same time you did, Wanda.
Yeah, I think it was about the same time we all 3 joined.
Mom did too, and so did Melody.
Yeah, I'm on there too, Colleen.
Okay, it looks like you guys are in there. You just have to, I have to start typing your name for it to prompt. So I just assumed that it was just Matt or I'm sorry, just Daniel and Jay. But yeah, you guys are all, if you signed up within the last few weeks, you should be on there. And then John, yours should absolutely be on there because remember they had to contact you and get you all pushed over. So if you're not seeing everybody else when you log on, let me know, because we did have to do a little bit of merging when we first started because Spirit was on and then they had to merge with to get everybody else on. But if you signed up, you should absolutely be on and good to go, and you should be able to search each other by first name. Are there any other questions about anything I just went through?
So to recap, the task list, when you go to create a task, you can create a task for yourself only, a task for yourself that you'd like other people to be able to see what you're doing, But you can also create a task for someone else. Like, I need Wanda to do this, so I'm going to create a task. Wanda, please do this by this date. Here are the details. Or Candy, please do this. And we can all create tasks for each other.
Is this where I would request a voiceover and tag Colleen instead of emailing Colleen and asking her to voice something?
Yes. Now that won't be ready yet because we're going station by station. So we have to get but yeah, actually, what would happen is I'll show you how the project thing would work, but you would actually assign it to me, and you would be the follower. So you would assign me the voiceover with the copy, and then that way it throws it in. What's so great about this is you don't forget then. It throws it into my task. So Candy, if you said, I need the voiceover tomorrow, and you put everything in there, then when I open my Asana, it pops up and it says voiceover. So I no longer have to remember to pull the email and print the thing, and it's literally right there. And there's also an app for your phone for Asana, and I love it. I absolutely love the app, but it shows you, it's a little bit different, but it's the same kind of interface where it shows you your tasks and all of that. So that won't be ready till everybody gets on, but that'll be in the next week and a half. I think everyone should be on by March 1st, and then we'll be able to do voiceover exchanges and stuff on Asana.
So will your voiceover be attached to Asana? Like I'm so unfamiliar with Asana. So you will actually respond in that, and your voiceover will be attached to that.
MP3 will be attached.
Great.
Correct. So that's the really cool thing, and I'll show you a couple of our projects next that have, instead of a bunch of emails going back and forth and nobody knows what's going on, I'll show you how it all like lives within one task. So I'll show you some of those with graphics because that's kind of the best example of the, going back. Like, for example, Daniel, I, and Matt have worked on graphics together, and so the three of us are corresponding within one task. So you can go back and you can see all the attachments, the examples. Oh, we liked that graphic, we didn't. You can see all of that within one task. So it really takes away the emails and trying to keep up with who said what, because it all lives within that one task. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so maybe if one of the underwriters requested or put a spot, which we use paperless now, they would put that maybe on Asana, and then they could track where Matt or Wanda could say, Candy, have you done the voiceover? Have you done the spot? Like, if I asked you to be the voiceover for that, and you voiced it, which basically you've responded to all of us, Matt could get on and see that you had done that, will you still be part of that communication even though your part's done? Like, can you leave the conversation?
So that part will be a little bit different. We'll actually probably have a different hangout for the production part of it because of the way that we have that set up. It's through a form. The form then goes into Asana, and then you would assign a subtask for different things. But yes, so the voiceover would actually, we're going to have a separate hangout because that's a little bit more complicated than just the everyday part of it. So that will actually probably have to come in a separate part where just the underwriters and the production people are on and we chat about that. Because that's a little bit further deep in the weeds than we're ready to get at this point. Because as soon as everyone gets on that, it's going to be a lot of tasks back and forth. So we want everyone to get the basics and get adjusted before we start throwing in the production piece of it. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm one of those who are going to be growing and need to learn this. So that's great. I'm glad that we're not immediately starting off with that.
Anybody else?
I think we're all good.
All right, well, we will go back in this part. I'll show you projects. All right, so there are several different things that you guys as a team, well, Daniel will have to kind of figure out for y'all. One of them is teams. So as you see over here, speak up if you can't see my screen, but I'm assuming you can. Over here, you'll see all these different teams. It says Colleen's private folder. This is where I put my tasks I don't want to share with the entire world. And so these have, I have different projects within a team. So how the hierarchy goes is you create a team, and this one just has me on it. And over here, you click these little wheel gear looking things, and you can edit team settings. Now, this is super, super important. You need to put hidden for most of your teams need to be hidden, because otherwise all 60 people of PAR are going to be able to see your team. So they need to be hidden, and you literally just click this thing. You can change the name. You can invite members of your team. So say that this is not my private team. Say this is Joy FM's underwriting team. Then you could invite more members to this team by just typing in their name, just like you did for assigning tasks. So let's see, Wanda pulled up. So say I wanted to invite Wanda, I would just click on her name and now send invite, and Wanda's invited to that team. This one I just left for just me. So I'm just going to exit out of this. And as you see right here, it just shows me. So since this is hidden, since this team is hidden, every task that I put in here can only be seen by the team members that are on that team. So only I can see all the tasks and projects put in here. I'm going to show a bigger example. Here's the Spirit FM team. So this is our entire team, things that we all are going to have to work together to create. And under this team is Brock. He's in there twice. I don't know why. Cindy, David's on the team, Erica. So we have all of our team members here, right here on our team. And so what you can do is then create a project. Where it says project, you literally just push create. You can do it different ways. We tend to like the blank project the best. It's easiest to work in. We'll just put a test in here. Create blank project, and then it brings this up. And this is where you would type all your tasks for that project. So to use as an example, I'm going to go into our Share-a-thon project. So this is under Spirit FM Team, Share-a-thon. What I did was literally, I know this is a long list, but you guys probably have just as long a list for Share-a-thon as we do. I literally sat down one day and put all of these tasks in. So everything from my written to-do list from Share-a-thon went into here. I assigned it to people. I assigned it dates. So one of the awesome things is now I can just look out in here to see what's complete and what's not. And I don't have to hash that out every week. Like, oh, did you guys do this? Is it done? And if anybody has questions about it, they can easily go into their task. I'm trying to see if any of these have questions yet. Let's say Cindy and I'm on Cindy's, and she does the food for Share-a-thon. Say she had a question, and this is from last Share-a-thon, but you can also create this into a template, which I'll get into in a second. But if she had a question, she could literally type the question here, and then I would see it, and we could go back and forth. She can attach the meal plan. See, this is last year's meal plan. She attached it to this task, and so I could easily see it. And so you're sharing all the information within this task. And so the really awesome thing about this too is you can see completed tasks. So say I want to see all completed tasks for this Share-a-thon. Okay, I see some that have been completed. That's awesome. That's great. And then I can go back to task by due date, and I can look back at that. So it enables any member of your team who's part of this to look and see what has to be done, when it's due, but it also throws each individual task into that person's My Task list. So for Cindy, start scheduling food for Spring Share-a-thon is in her task list for Monday for her to complete. Erica, to write the pre-share, it's in there to be February 23rd. And so it's populating in all their to-do lists, but I only had to sit down once and do this. I also can create this into a template. We do Share-a-thons twice a year. We know that generally the tasks are the same, and so instead of having to go retype all this stuff out, I can literally use this as a copy or template. So you go to that task, and you click Use as a copy or template. Now this one particular, it's Share-a-thon. I don't want to copy due dates because I'm going to have Spring Share-a-thon and Fall Share-a-thon, and the dates are likely going to be different. But I want the tasks, the assignees, the subtasks. I don't necessarily need the attachments, the tags, the people who are involved, the tasks. I want all that stuff to be the same for the next Share-a-thon. So I would just push Create New Project, and I'm not going to do that because I've already done it like 4 times. But and it would literally make a copy of Share-a-thon. That would throw it down here, and so then the next time, see there's a template down here. Next time Share-a-thon comes, I click on this template, and instead of retyping all of this stuff, and I copied these with due dates, which I probably shouldn't have done, but instead of recopying all this stuff, I just go and change the due dates. And you can do that with any project that you want. So that's how that works, and that's really valuable. John, you're going to love this for promotions. I'll show you one of our promotional ones. Spirit FM promotions. One of the ones that we're doing, Ignite. Okay, so this is a men's conference that we're doing. Same thing. I sat down one day and started typing out all the things that needed to be done, and it's all complete. And I have a template for promotions too. So when I do a promotions, I have all the generic things in a template, and I just copy that template. So with the templates, so I have a template down here for promotions. How do I turn that template into a project? It's super easy. I just go down here and use as a template or copy, and I literally am just copying this again, but I'm giving it the right name. So we'll just do Mom to Mom Diaper Drive. Create new, and now it's going to make that new promotion, and it's going to populate all of those same things in that new promotions project. So that's really going to change all of that, and you don't have to go to each person individually and say, we need to start recruiting volunteers, we need to enter a win sheet, we need to fill this, we need to do that. You can do it all in Asana. So you can create your teams. I would suggest that you let Daniel figure out the teams, what teams you guys are going to need for Joy FM, create those, and then start inviting you guys so that you don't have a ton of teams. Also, I would ask that you mark your teams as Joy FM, or I guess there's 2 Joy FM, so I don't know how you'll figure that out, but maybe your call letters, so that if you are inviting people from the corporate level, or if they see it, they know. Like all of ours are SP, so that we know that those belong to Spirit. So that's how you do tasks, or that's how you do teams and projects. To create a team, for you guys, you're not going to have this long list of teams like we do, but you're probably going to have none when you first log in. But if you want to create a team, it's really easy. You go all the way down to the bottom where it says add a team, and you put the team name, and then you just start type in the members right here, and always remember to make it hidden. I'm going to show you real quick because I didn't show you one that had a back and forth. So this is gonna be an example of how corporately we will work together. Graphics. So graphics is actually public. It's not hidden, because there's so many people who are requesting graphics from all of our different locations that it's easier for that particular one to be public for everyone to see. So for that instance, you can see all the different stations are in here. So if you were going to request a graphic for Joy, you would click on your Joy folder and request a graphic. And then I'm going to go to Spirits, though. We've requested a lot of graphics, as you can see. We'll go into this one. So this is a graphic. This is a task that I had originally made for Matt. Matt's assigned it back to me because I need to approve it. But I typed in all of this description to Matt of what I wanted. And then this is how many times we've gone back and forth. So there's 17 comments and probably 11 attachments. That's 27 emails that would probably have gone back and forth if we didn't have Asana. But it all lives right here. So you can go back and see all of our comments, all of our back and forths. You know, this is what I wanted. Okay, this is the first copy. Okay, we didn't like the black and white, so can we see it in color? So this is him and I going back and forth for all these different things. As you see, there's lots of it, but it all lives in one place. So instead of getting a bazillion emails and trying to figure out where it is, or, oh, I can't find that original attachment of that shirt that he made or that image that he made, where did that go? It all lives right here. And so we've gone back and forth for probably a month about this, about what we want it to look like and all that kind of stuff. And so it all lives right here. And Matt and I are corresponding directly with each other, and then I don't have to go back and find things in email. It all lives right here in that one task. The other thing that him and I do often, which I would suggest this if you're working with someone on a project, is when he's completed the project, instead of marking it complete, which he can do, he actually assigns it to me. So he goes up here and reassigns it. He finds my name and assigns it to me, since I have to approve it or I have to order it. And that makes it easier for me to find it instead of him marking it complete. So those are the basic gists of teams and projects. And so I'm going to ask if you have any questions now.
But basically what you mean by that is, even though it's like tennis and the ball's in your court and the ball's in my court, and I can tell this is pretty much the last time the ball is going to be in my court, my tendency would be to check it off my list.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to think about the team, the person you're working with. It's not completed until they've hit the print button, and so that's where you do have to kick it back into their court. That's where it's helpful, I guess, to reassign it back to them, even if you think your part's completely finished.
Yeah, that's how we work. That's how we figured out it works best for Matt and I. Some of our other team members, we like to do that too. Anything that I need to get printed or I need to approve before it goes out, it's easier for them to reassign it to me. Other things are not necessarily, if, for instance, I need Michael to schedule an interview for something. Once that's complete, I don't need it back because he's the one who actually did the task. But yeah, if there's any part left that I have to do, we found just in how we've used it, it makes it easier for the task to be assigned back to that person. And if the worst that happens is if they didn't need to see it, they click it complete, and it goes away. So it's not, it's not like a huge thing. So that's what's worked best for us. If you guys want to work it out differently, that's completely up to you. But that's just something we found that works really, really well for us. Same thing with some of the production type stuff. If Matt requested a spot, instead of it just being marked complete, assigning it to him so he can hear the spot, those types of things, when you're sharing information, that's just how we found that it works. But you guys can make that determination on how you want it to work within your own station.
How have you found with the teams? Like, I understand if you want something private, you set it as hidden. But if John and I are working through a promotion thing, maybe he and I are on a team, but if we don't hide it, does that allow some candor? It allows, Shelley's and Hickory says, I remember we talked about doing this thing. Well, let me go see if they're working on that. Oh, okay, well, I can see they're working on that. They don't. It's not being nosy, I guess, but it's just sometimes we forget to tell or update the whole team, hey, these are things we're all working on. What's your advice on that?
So I would actually invite the person to that team, because they don't necessarily get alerts on everything, but it would allow them to see it. The problem with leaving it public is that all 60 people in PAR are going to see it.
Oh.
And it'll pop up in their side thing, which is, it's going to get overwhelming for everybody if everything is public. So what we do is, like, half of our teams have half of our staff on it, and we're not. The other half of our team doesn't really want to see the ins and outs of, the promotions unless it's assigned to them. You can also share specific projects with them inside of a team. So even if they're not on that team, if you want to share a specific project with that person, you can easily do that by inviting them. As soon as you invite them, if they're not part of that team, the Asana will prompt you. Do you want to share this task? Do you want to share this project? Or do you want to invite them to the team? So it will prompt you to make a decision right then on whether you want that. But, I mean, that's completely up to you guys on how you want to set that. As far as, you know, if your office managers, the people that run your office need to see your promotions, they're on our promotions team because sometimes they need to get us cash or they need to know where we're going if we need the car. So we have them. Sorry, office managers, you tend to get invited to every single team because you just run the world. Sorry.
I know from working in base camp with projects specifically that we would try to identify all the players up front that would at some point touch that project so they're aware of what's going on from the beginning and don't have to catch up. But I'm assuming that, let's say, Daniel, as he was saying, Daniel and I are kind of hashing out the details of what we want a promotion to be, and we're not yet ready to share it with our team. I'm assuming we can loop in team members later down the road into that project.
Yeah, it's super easy. So actually, let me show you that really quick. If you decide at the beginning that you just want it to be, we'll just use this one for instance. Right now, any person on the graphics team, so Brian can see any of the graphics we're working on, Daniel can see any of them, but he's not necessarily let in on this particular project. You can at any time add him as a follower, or you can add someone who's not part of the team. So we'll just use, let's just say we'll use Wanda because she's not part of the graphics team. When I click Wanda and share it, now she can see this. If this wasn't a private, this is not private, so that might have been a bad example because normally it'll prompt me. Let me pull into one of our private Spirit folders. Okay, so this folder only has me in it. So this team only has me in it. But say I want to share, so say, perfect example, say this was a project with just John and Daniel, but they want to share a task with Wanda, let's just say. So test, I'm going to come down here as a follower and add Wanda, and it's going to prompt me. How much information in this folder do you want to share with her? Share the task, share the project, share all.
Yeah.
So it prompts you how much do you want her to see, and then it allows you to do that. As far as teams, say you wanted to add someone to the team, it's super easy to do that. You literally just click there and you invite them. But then they can see everything. So that's completely up to you, but yes, it's really easy to loop somebody in even after you're halfway through. So even if you have a bunch of correspondence back and forth, if you add someone as a follower to that task, they can then see all of it. So they're let into the loop right in live action. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I have a few more. This is kind of important just for me to get my head straight on this. Is the hierarchy team and then project and task, or is the hierarchy project, then team, then task?
The hierarchy is team. I'm just going to stop not sharing my screen. The hierarchy is team, and then project, and then task. So you have your team right here, like in graphics, we have our team who can see everything in this, in every single one of the projects, and then tasks. So you don't have to, now here's the only little tricky part. You don't have to have a project or a team connected to create yourself or anyone else a task. It will still show up in their task list, even if it doesn't have a team or a project. So the teams and projects are more for you to be able to click on and say, you know, that way everybody can see and be on the same page. Like for the promotions, I could have assigned each one of these tasks without making it part of a team or part of a project, but then it's not all in one central location. They're just tasks hanging out everywhere, which this, now I can click on, you know, planning, and I can look at all the planning stuff, or Winter Jam and look at all the Winter Jam stuff. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so tasks are essentially day-to-day, but your projects give you the ability to create tasks underneath that project.
Yeah, and your teams are just everybody you want to have access to that. Now, it doesn't give them an alert for every single project unless they're followers on a specific task. So my promotions people aren't getting updates on every single thing that I'm putting into promotions. Only the things I'm assigning them or asking them to follow.
When we assign them a task within a project, will they know what project that's associated with?
Yeah, so the other really important thing, and I apologize I didn't go over this before, is your inbox. So you didn't get rid of messages completely, but so say you're a follower on a task, or someone's created you a new task, or someone's attached a file to an existing task. It has to have a way of alerting you, because as a follower specifically, it will not show up in your My Task list if you're just a follower. It will alert you when there's updates. So over here, it's My Task, My Dashboard, My Inbox. When you click on My Inbox, it will show you all the different things that has happened. So like Cindy and I are going back on this Lynchburg computer trade agreement, and she put a new comment in here. Even though this task is not mine, I'm a follower. So it gave me all that information. It threw it into my inbox so I could see there's new information here. When someone assigns you a task, it will show up here. I have it set so I get 0 emails from Asana, but you have to set it that way. So how you're going to do that is you're going to go over below this. It's kind of hard to see, but your name is down below here, and you have account settings. And from to email, I only get reminders. I get nothing else. If you click activity, you will be driven nuts. I'm just telling you right now by the amount of emails that you're getting from Asana, because it will email you every time somebody does something in Asana. So I've clicked mine off. I want to check it in Asana. I want to look at it in Asana. So in essence, what this becomes is your inside work for PAR is in your Asana. Your outside work is generally in your email. So it does help you in focusing, because, okay, I'm doing stuff for PAR right now. I need to focus on what I'm doing. I'm not going to respond to outside emails right now. It's all right here in Asana. So that's how you would see the correspondence back and forth when I'm added as a follower. Brian does a need to know thing. I'm added as a follower. It's alerting me. And then if you click on this, it shows you the whole task over here. So yeah, it'll show them the project, which is deadlines, the task, and everything involved in it for any time you do anything with it. Assign it to them, do an attachment, make a comment. You can also tag people like you do on Facebook. Like you can actually tag, like say Mark is in on this email, this project chain, but say I need a specific answer from him, I can actually tag him. Mark, what do you think about this? And it will throw it into his alerts that I tagged him. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes. One last one. So let's say that you have created a Share-a-thon template that is super magnificent that everybody should use. Is that something that you can share with Joy and other stations through Asana, or do we all need to create?
I could share it, but one of the wonderful things I would suggest making your own template only because I have people assigned to my template, which generally, if Shelly normally does X, Y, and Z for Share-a-thon, most likely next Share-a-thon she's going to do X, Y, and Z. So I don't know that my template would fit your team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, we could share it.
I just didn't know if we created something really awesome that we thought other people could use if it was shareable.
Yeah, because you can share any. So yeah, it's absolutely this template for promotions. I can click on here, and I could invite you guys to any one of these. So how I would do that is I would actually just invite you, John, as a follower to this one, and then I would share this project with you. So now you should be able to see my template for promotions. And what you would do then is go into your Asana and copy it. Use as a template or copy. So yeah, it is possible to absolutely share it within our company pretty easily, actually. So.
Cool.
Yeah, and again, we're talking about projects that typically you have several to-do things that are all because of one. Like if we're going to send out a music test, Candy, there are several parts of that process we go through before we actually send out a music test. Now, if it were like the last day of the month and I wanted to ask Shelley, hey, can you go to the post office twice and try to make sure we can collect all the cash we can? What I could do is I could just assign that task to her. Go to the post office twice today, and that's not going to be attached to any project. It's basically just going to be this little task all by itself that'll show up with today's due date. Again, kind of taking the place of an email that I would send saying the same thing, right?
Correct. So you don't always have to. It doesn't always have to have a project. You can, and I do this all the time. This is my task list. As you can see, all these little things right here are projects they're associated with, but I have a bunch of stuff that's not associated with the project at all, because it just, it's a one-off thing. It doesn't necessarily need to have a project, so it doesn't. And that's okay, and that can be, like he's saying, you can do that for other people. You can easily assign them a task without it having to be in a project. So not everything's going to warrant making a project. Then that's the other thing I will warn you guys about is don't create projects for things that are 1 or 2 tasks. You'll drive yourself crazy, because then you'll have a million projects and it'll be hard to find what you're looking for. The other thing is you can always archive projects, so that's what we do with things like promotions. Like Winter Jam, when it's over, I'll just archive it, and then it won't show up in this list unless I prompt it to. But yeah, be really careful how many projects you create. Create projects for things that are going to, be recurring things that have a lot of tasks in them. Or the other thing is you can make, like for the promotions team, we have an other stuff folder. For all the stuff that doesn't fit with anything else, it just goes in the other stuff folder. I know, really official, but that's where it goes. So,
Colleen, is there, say I assign somebody a task, or I'm assigned somebody a task, or I'm sorry, somebody assigns me a task, and I happen to be out sick that day. I didn't check it. I didn't look at it. Will it just automatically continue to be on my calendar every day until it's done?
Yes, which is sometimes annoying, but yeah, it'll. I actually had some on here that were red. What happens is in your to-do list where it says today, it'll show up, but it'll be red. So if the day has passed, if you do not mark it complete, it just keeps showing up and keeps showing up and keeps showing up until you do it.
It's
red, which is, sometimes you're like, I wish that task was complete. Why does it keep coming up red? But yeah, it doesn't go away unless you click it. Now, another really important point to that is you can make reoccurring tasks. So, like, this is my EAS. I have to go in the back and run an EAS test for Spirit and for WTTX. And so I need that to be reoccurring. So I have this set as when you go to pick the date, you can literally click repeat, and you can repeat weekly, daily, periodically, monthly, yearly. But the little weird thing about this little guy is, so I have mine weekly to remind me every Monday, and hence it's not Monday. And I haven't done it yet, so it just keeps popping up. But the only little weird thing that it will do is see all of these with these little calendar stars as opposed to little circles. That means that these are either repeating things or things on my calendar. It won't populate the next one until you've completed that one. I don't know if that makes sense, but like every day I have Facebook on my calendar. It doesn't put Facebook, like you can see Facebook down here for tomorrow. You don't see it for Thursday or Friday or Saturday because I haven't completed this one yet. I don't know if that makes sense. It's kind of a weird little thing, but as soon as I click that one complete, it'll show up for the next day. So if you're doing repeated tasks, don't expect it to actually show up every day. It will show up when you complete the task for the day before, then it will show up for that day. for the next day. I don't know if that one made sense. Sorry.
Can you sort by incomplete tasks to see everything you haven't done?
Yeah, these are all the ones I'm looking at right now are incomplete. So the only way you see complete tasks is if you tell it. All completed tasks, completed tasks today, yesterday, 1 week, 2 weeks. But otherwise, you're only going to see your incompleted. These are everything I haven't completed. Don't judge.
Colleen, I see on that page you just had up some colored things, like one says Spirit FM and kind of a fuchsia. Is that where you can tag what it is and you can see it easier?
These are projects, and you can give projects colors. So over here, like we'll use promotions as an example, where it says promotions area. If you click on this, you can highlight. So my highlighted color, and you can do any one of these colors to kind of make it stand out. It helps with, I started doing it, but I never got through all the rest of them. But it does help a lot. Like Share-a-thon I gave one to, Spirit FM Graphics I gave one to, so it kind of helps when you're looking at your day. So yeah, you can highlight it any color you want. You just go to the little arrow, and you can, and you can set it for everyone if you want, that everybody has that color highlight, if that's what you want to do, or you can let everyone choose their own.
Yeah, that's great. That makes you see it easier. Sure.
Anything else? Any other questions?
I make it snow on the left side of my screen. Yeah, Colleen, I want to know how to make it snow on the left side of the screen.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the most important part of the entire thing. Let me show you. Not will it snow, but you can have a unicorn. I can't believe it. It's under account settings. So same place that you would change your email, your profile picture. It's under hacks. This is where the unicorn is. Yeah, it gives you a unicorn with the rainbow when you complete a task, and that's just called celebration. So you can activate that right there, and then it gives you a celebration when you complete a task. Who doesn't like that? The other one that you're talking about, the snow, is themes. So you can set it to anything you want. There's, well, not anything. There's choices, but winter is the one that makes it snow. You can do forest or sky, or if you want to just leave it businessy, you can leave it businessy. But these are the choices. The fun little things that you can do.
I love it.
Do you guys use Asana for your like weekly meetings? Like we have our weekly meeting. Do you use it there, or do you stay in Google for that?
So for like calendar purposes, Asana really isn't. It's task oriented. So we still use our Google Calendar to set meetings and such up, because it just doesn't work. Asana doesn't work like that. You can integrate the two, but we haven't really found that effective either. So we still live in the Google Calendar as far as that. Now meetings specifically, we actually have a project where anybody in the company can put, or anyone in our team can put an agenda. So right here under our Spirit FM team, we actually have a staff meeting project. And so I'll go in here before a staff meeting. Mark can go in here. Cindy, anybody on our team can go in here and type in a task. And then when we start our staff meetings, this is our agenda based on what we put in here. And everybody can pull it up either on a laptop or a phone. And so we actually don't print off anything anymore for our staff meetings. Everything's done through Asana. And then when it's complete, it's checked off. Okay, we've talked about that. Or if something else needs to be done with it, like this one, we didn't get anywhere, so I just left it in there. But notes can be taken in here too. So that also helps me if I get a bunch of requests for different things. For staff meeting, you can arrange it too. So you could actually go to this like calendar view and say you had 10 things to talk about this Monday and nothing to talk about next Monday. You could rearrange those things so that you're talking about the most important things this week. And so it has cut down. I know it sounds crazy. It has cut down our staff meetings to 15 to 20 minutes. So it's been really helpful with all of that.
Wow.
That's my personal thought.
I like you.
Now I know that for some of you guys this might be, we have, even on our own team, we have wide spectrum. We have people who embraced and loved Asana, and we have people that are like, what are you doing to me? Why are you making me do Asana? So those, I know for some people, especially if you've lived in social media, it'll come natural and it'll be fine. For other team members, it might be slower in coming. Help each other out. If someone's struggling with it, for some of our teams, sitting down and actually physically doing things and helping them within their own Asana really made it click, and they were able to do that. The Spirit FM team is trained. We've been using it for 6 or 7 months. So if you need help, please feel free to contact myself or anyone else within the Spirit team, except for the morning show. They joke about how they're still learning it themselves, so don't contact them. But everybody else, and I'm not throwing them under the bus, they joke about it all the time. So if anyone else can really help you, if you're an underwriter and you want to contact Cindy and see how she does stuff, they're totally aware everyone's coming on, and you guys might have questions on how we do certain things within our station. So please feel free to contact us. And if there's any other questions, I'm not like ending the call now. If you guys have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Will you send an email out, or Daniel, will you, of just how, even the basics of how to sign up for it?
Oh, you just go to Asana.
Asana.com and just sign up using your Joy FM email. Okay.
I think you can click connect through Google, right? Doesn't it give you that way, that option?
I didn't do that. I just went to Asana.
It gives you, yes, I think it's either Google Plus or Facebook or something.
There's also a video when you first do it that you can watch that might help you, because they'll go through it too with you.
It's incredibly simple to get into.
Yeah, it'll prompt you when you first log in. It'll ask you if you need help, if you want more information. Anytime there's a new feature, it'll open it up and tell you, hey, this is a new feature. Do you want to learn more about it? I'd encourage you to say yes. I mean, sometimes you can push ask me later, but that's the other thing with Asana is they're growing and trying to figure out new ways to help their clients. So often we find new things that are going on in Asana. So just poke around in there, see what you can do, and if there's any questions, there's lots of there's tons of things that we can do with this. This is just the bare basics to try to get everybody on it and using it. You'll be surprised how much of a time saver, I know this sounds weird, but how much of a time saver Asana is, because it helps keep you on task, and it helps you be able to, especially with you guys being at so many different buildings, it's really going to help you communicate with each other without having to wait for email, but in having everything all in one spot. But yeah, just go to asana.com and sign in. You have to use your Joy FM email, or it will not put you into the PAR account. So you do have to use. So I don't know that you could sign in through Facebook if your Facebook is through a Yahoo or something else. It has to be your matt@joyfm.org. It has to be that email address in order for it to work.
And Facebook two Facebook employees, from what I understand, left Facebook to start Asana. So in a lot of ways, if you think of Asana like you do Facebook, because Facebook has messages, so it's kind of like email. So you've got an inbox in Asana. Facebook has notifications. I mean, so again, like if you get the app, then you'll get notifications much like you will when you're on Facebook. So most of us have Facebook. We didn't stop using email, but sometimes, just depending on who you're talking to. So basically, I think what Colleen has said through this is pretty much your PAR family, your radio station business internally will live and communicate through Asana, and then everybody else will be through email.
And Colleen, this isn't something, I'm just completely unfamiliar with Asana, so this isn't something that if I sign up for it, maybe different listeners who are using it can start assigning to, okay. assigning tasks?
It is just PAR. It is just the people within our company who can see it and can use it. It's not, what I mean when I say it's like social media is like what he was saying. You get notifications, you can tag people, you can push the little heart to say, yeah, I like this. But it's not a social media platform at all. It is 100% private. You have to have, people who sign up for it have to be approved. Like we've sent a list of people that are in our company so that, so no one besides people who are actually part of PAR can see anything you're doing. The only person that is not a full-time employee or not an employee of PAR that is seeing it is Jerry Grimes, who is our consultant.
Yeah.
He's everything anyway. So he's the only one that's not, technically a PAR employee that's on it. But everybody else it's the PAR family.
I mean, just to give you an example, Brian Sanders really no longer ever sends emails. The Morning Thoughts is the only thing I ever get my email from him anymore. So that has cut down, now if I want to get my brain totally in the PAR game of what am I expected to do or what do I need to do, I can look there and see everything that he's assigned or anything else. So imagine if we all no longer emailed each other, how much of a drop in activity that's going to be on our email, but yet we can be in one mind, one focus when we go to Asana to know we're not distracted by an interview pitch or a piece of spam or a newsletter from Vistaprint
Music
question, yes, you go in Asana and you're down to business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a huge point, Daniel. It has helped tremendously with separating the two. Okay, now it's time for me to focus, like, I'm going to answer email now. Okay, I can't answer email for an hour, but I know that if Brian or Mark or Daniel or Matt or somebody else who is in our company needs my attention or needs something from me, I know it's going to live in Asana. So I don't have to worry about, like you said, wading through all the stuff you all get in your email, because we all know email can take over our world. Instead, it's living in Asana, so you can focus on that without feeling that panic of missing something. Maybe I'm the only person who feels that, but and then you can answer your email. It can be it's two separate worlds kind of going on.
I've always said email is like an endless to-do list. Every email typically would be some kind of a to-do list for me because it's either a staff person or my boss or somebody else in PR asking something. And so think about it. I'm going to sit down, and for 30 minutes I'm going to check email. I think I'm going to respond to listeners. I think I'm going to do that warm and fuzzy stuff, but 3 emails in, oh, I got to go down the hall and fix that. Okay, go back to my email now. Oh, yes, dear Susie, thank you for listening. But next email is another to-do. Now I got to go out in the car and get that for Brian, whatever. So it does, for me, it compartmentalizes my life, and I like that.
You can also email into Asana. So, like, if you do get an email that's something that you need to complete, if you go into, and I'm just going to show you where it lives because I always forget how, but if you go into account settings, same place you're going to get your pretty background and everything, you click on your name, account settings, it's going to, from email, x@mail.asana.com, you can actually email that address, and it will throw a task into your Asana. Now you have to then go in and assign it a due date and all that kind of stuff, but it will throw it into your Asana, and it will give you a notification that it's there and that you need to assign it. A due date, a person, all that kind of stuff. Let's say,
for instance, Chuck Finney, who's not in Asana. Chuck emails us and says, hey, we're getting ready for a new music test. I need the top 500 songs that you're playing. Can you have this in an Excel spreadsheet? Can you have it done this way and that way and have it to me by next Friday? Now what you can do is you could, correct me if I'm wrong, Colleen, you could hit forward on that email from Chuck, forward that message to the email address x@asana.com, and hit send. And next time you open Asana, you'll have, sitting in your inbox will be this assignment, literally from Chuck, but you've basically done it. It's just a shortcut to help you from having to sit there and type it all in.
Yeah, and it's up to you. I mean, I copy and paste some, but yeah, that's exactly what it'll do. If you want to forward it in, it will have all the information, and then you just have to set an assignee and a due date for it.
Right.
Any other questions about Asana?
Would you suggest we start, everybody jump into it and look at it and kind of get the feel of it, but maybe from an organizational point of view, we start with just a couple of things at a time before we, because I've got 28 different to-do lists that I could start dumping in, but that might overwhelm the system for everybody.
So what I would suggest is coming up with the teams that you want to do and start inviting the people, and then I would just start jumping in and doing it, and letting people get used to it. Now, one thing I will say is when we were first getting used to it, we did have it email us. We didn't set the information as no email. So if you need that kind of thing to remind you to kind of get you over for a week or two, you can set it so that Asana will email you. Just be aware it's a lot of emails, but it can email you to remind you. But I would suggest just kind of making your teams and then maybe making a time. Okay, now on Monday we're gonna all start using this, and see how it goes. We had a few people lag behind just because they were part-time and stuff like that. But once we kind of jumped in and reminded people, hey, assign us things in Asana, assign us things in Asana, it was fully embraced. So I would go ahead and start putting your to-do list in there, and the teams are the first thing. Decide what teams you're going to have and who's going to be on each team, and then go from there. But yeah, I would just jump right in. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, you're still kind of living in two worlds, and it gets things confusing if you're trying to do Asana and email and all that kind of stuff. So I would just jump right in and do it. Nobody freak out on me. I swear it will be okay.
Colleen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, this is Matt. Was Joy FM, this is sort of a random question, is Joy FM the last, or do you have any more of these presentations to do? Other stations?
So you guys are actually only the third station on. Spirit's on, the other Joy's on, and then you guys. So everybody else will not be fully on until, I believe, the beginning of March, because I still have Walk FM, CQR, and PER, and then I have some of the other departments in corporate. So, yeah, you guys we're not ready. If you want to invite people from Spirit to teams and stuff, you can do that, but the rest of the stations aren't on quite yet.
Well, my thinking was, because I've not been able to, and I guess I'm having major problems here, but I was not able to see any of the screen presentations, so what I would like to do is just sit in on the next presentation, whoever you give it to, just so I could actually see. I heard everything you said, but obviously it's different when you're able to see the screen. So I was just going to sit in on your next presentation whenever that was going to be.
But I've recorded this, so I can, when this is over, I'll send the YouTube link out if you want to watch it again.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, well, that's the same thing then. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I have mixed feelings. I don't know what the next step should be. As Colleen said, you might like a couple of weeks of getting Okay, rewind to Facebook. When you signed up with Facebook, do you remember that you would get Facebook notifications in your email? Did you ever get those?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I have mine going to a Facebook folder, but anyway, you could have turned them off or you could leave them on. So that meant that every time someone responded to a post that you did on Facebook, you not only got it on the little icon up on Facebook, but you also got it on your iPhone or your smartphone, and then you also got it in your email. I have mixed feelings on this. Because we're saying we're going to jump in, and everybody knows this is the new world, I'm almost tempted to say, everybody leave this meeting, go to Asana, go down to your settings, and turn off the email function so that you're not bombarded with email, because for me, that kind of was a little bit of a crutch. It delayed me from jumping into Asana because, I can just see it in my email. And we're trying to get away from email, so that's kind of the thing. But I'm not going to mandate that, but I would just strongly suggest just everybody go do that, unless you're just really shaking in your boots and you're afraid you're going to screw something up, then you can leave it for a couple weeks. But that's my suggestion. Shelley, are you good? Wanda, are you good? No, Wanda's on mute. Well, we'll pass the video around, Colleen. I'll send you a link as well. And if we need to edit it, I'd like to edit it and chop it up into chapters or something.
And if you guys think of anything after the fact, or if there's something that you're trying to do in Asana and you struggle to do it, please feel free to reach out and I can help you through. And sometimes you think of things after the, when we're done. If you think of any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
And to reiterate, we'll have a separate training on production and underwriting because that world will collide soon with Asana. Right now we use Paperless Studio through a Google site. And we have a form that you fill out for production orders and it goes to Candy through a spreadsheet in Google Docs. So that will eventually dump into Asana. And so that's kind of the part 2 that's coming.
Correct.
Great. All right, thank you, Colleen.
Thank you,
Colleen. Have a good day.
Bye.
Daniel, what will happen to talking points? I mean, they're on air. What will you do?